Hiya there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the Tight Yorkshireman.
And me, Dawn.
How long is it since we've said that?
A long time.
A long time. Reckon it's about 12 months since we had to put a video on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
We've not really been doing anything on the boat, like work-wise, have we, in that time? So we've not bothered recording anything. But if you have a little sneaky peek down there, you'll see we're back to it. We're back working on the boat, aren't we? I've got a week off work and you're off for a few days, aren't you? So, you know, crack on. Let's get this ceiling done. This ceiling, this has been a project on the go for 18 months maybe at least.
Got to be.
But I knew what a nightmare this ceiling were going to be, and it is proving to be a nightmare. Yeah. You've been at work today, haven't you? And I've been working on this ceiling, which I'll show the footage in a minute of that, and you can see just how I created all this mess here. But yeah, I mean, in between times, last sort of 12 months or so, we kind of bought a camper van, didn't we? So we've been out camping a bit on a few holidays, and we've just been enjoying the boat.
Yeah, of course.
We're kind of, although we've done an odd little bit here and there, we've not really done anything worthy of filming, and just, like I say, enjoying it. But I think if I show people how the boat is just at the minute and the bits we've got planned for this week, you can start tidy up time, can't you?
I'm always doing tidy up time.
Cleaning up my carnage from earlier on, which, as you can see, there is plenty of carnage. So yeah, as I come down this way, like I said, the ceiling is in pretty much the same state, or looks to be, as it's been for the last 18 months or so. But when I show that footage from earlier, you'll see things have changed and we are making progress on it. But I did make quite a bit of a mess. What you will also notice is the boat's basically empty. We took everything out of the boat, didn't we? Because we knew we were going to make
a mess.
So we thought best thing to do was box everything up, take it all out, do all the work and put it all back in. As I come through this way then, bathroom wise, the main thing to do in here is just going to be, again, ceiling, get that up, little bit of panelling around the corners and things, not a great deal to do in there. Bedroom, however, is a lot of finishing touches really. Never got a panel over there, and in that little bit under the window, if we've not got too much glare from the window. Just need some bits of plywood and things on that. And if I can spin it round, we've got this chest of drawers that we bought, and we started stripping the paint off it and then never finished that, so that's going to be a little project to get that done. I think a lot of what we've got planned for the week is finishing things off. Let's make this boat a proper boat, eh? No longer a project boat.
What will you have to do next?
Oh, I'm sure I'll find something. But yeah, so what we'll do now is I'll run the footage of what I did earlier, and then we'll come back to you when Dawn's done tidy up time.
Thank you.
First jobs then, what I'm going to try and do is get anything that's going to create a lot of mess and dust and things like that out of the way. Because once they're done, we can then clean the boat up and we've got sort of a relatively clean working space to continue for the rest of the week. So I think first job is going to be this one up here. Obviously you can see the ceiling itself is going to run into there, and it needs to fasten to this joist. But these little pieces of timber here that were part of the framework for making this hatch stand down. They're about maybe 3 or 4 millimeters lower. So what I'm going to have to do is get the multi-saw out and trim those back, just so that it makes it all level. So I think the best thing to do is stick the GoPro on the time lapse and we'll get cracking. Well, we're definitely at it now then. We've created that dust and mess. Now going back is the... So we've got this first bit done. Like I said, that's now nice and flush there. So as we put that ceiling board on, it can run up and sit nicely against that bit there. The next jobs we've got to do are down this way. And as you'll probably remember, things like this used to be the old ceiling supports, and they used to hang down by quite a bit. and cut those back so that we could make the ceiling higher up, give us more headroom. But a few of the bits still stick down, obviously way too far. So I just need to go over those and trim those down. Probably a combination of jigsaw and hand saw, sander, multi-tool. Let's get cracking again. Oh, well, that were a bit dusty and messy, and I think I ended up using pretty much every tool I own trying to work out the best way of getting those cut to the right shape. And as you can see, I think I should have took those seats out before I started doing this bit, but never mind, it'll all hoover up at a later stage. Next job though is looking at these joists down here. Now we've cut all these out of the way and sanded them back and what have you, I now need to get these levelled up, because basically the bit of the ceiling that's got the insulation in, these are all sat level in line with the floor, and they're all level running backwards and forwards across the boat. However, obviously this side where the insulation finishes, I've not actually done that job yet, so I now need to make sure they're all level, lined up to the floor, and also run nice and smooth, so that when the ceiling boards are fitted, you've got a nice smooth run. I will say right now, it's never going to be perfect. It's a fiberglass roof. It's 40 odd years old. It's all going to have twisted and turned. I can get it to within a couple of millimetres, but that's as good as it gets. But what I think I'm going to do, the way I'm going to do it is, for instance, this one's already in the right place. So if I cut a piece of timber that measures from there down to the floor, and then I can go along and set it on this one, etc., all the way along, and then the same on that side, and that'll mean that they're all the same height and same level all the way down the boat. Sounds simple. Let's get cracking. Well, having spent a little bit of time looking around the boat and the levels and the heights of the ceiling and things, I've realised I've got a bit of an issue. Basically, I've made this piece of timber the right length so it fits nice and snug under one of these existing joists. But if I move it down to these fresh ones, there's obviously a bit of play there. It needs this unscrewing, a packer putting in between so it makes it the right size. Not a problem with that at all. I expected to do that all the way down here anyway. But when I go over to this side, this piece of timber doesn't fit under there at all. It's about a centimetre, getting on half an inch too tall. What that means is I'm going to have to take this out and cut this joist down by its width so it'll make it the right size. Again, not a major issue until I come back to look at some of these that I've already fitted and thought were in the right place, and basically they're not. They're a good half inch, some of them even more, some of them closer to an inch out. So I think the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my measuring stick now, refit these ones down this end to the correct height, and then work out just how many of these I'm going to have to take back out and completely redo. Obviously that means stripping insulation out and all manner of things. So what was a job that big is now a job that big. Well, it's safe to say this is definitely one of them jobs that's not going to plan. What I thought might be a couple of hours of fiddling about with the ceiling just down that end is, as we say now, turning into having to strip part of this section off. So we've got like all the insulation down there that was on the ceiling. Some of the boards are needing cutting so that they're really thin, like that. Not too bothered about the strength or anything. These are purely and simply to hold the ceiling up, and there's more than enough strength there to hold the plywood ceiling. It's just the amount of messing about, chopping bits of fiberglass out and bits of timber out. And I'm going to have to go right back to, I think, this joist here. I think that's perhaps the last one that's in the right place. So these last few need doing as well. And each one's probably taking a good half hour. But anyway, I'll carry on. We'll see how far we get. Well, it's fair to say some things never change, do they?
No.
Because although we're quite organised in what we're doing, this video in itself is very unorganised, because this is now actually 2 days after the clip that you've just seen, and in between times I've been working on the bedroom that you'll see next week. Does that make sense? Not that it really matters, but you've been back at work for a day, haven't you? So I had to sort of work on my own, so we thought best I crack on with something else. But other than Dawn making porridge, which is our breakfast, yummy, far better than a full English, clearly, we're gonna get this ceiling up. We are on a mission. We're gonna get this ceiling up. So we're gonna eat our porridge, then we're gonna get the boards out that we need for the ceiling and get cracking. As you can see, I got all this framework back up, and what a nightmare it was too. There are still a couple of joists need putting in place, but I think the majority of it's there, and we'll see exactly where these other ones need to go as to where the boards finish as they go down the boat. Dawn's just in the process of putting the insulation up. Fun job, eh?
Fantastic, I love it.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've done that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet it all comes flooding back though, and what to do.
Yeah, the nightmare starts.
But yeah, so first job is going to be getting the boards up down this end, the above the kitchen. And first thing I need to do for that is there's going to be a light going sort of somewhere around here and one somewhere around there. I'm not going to wire those in straight away. What I'm going to do is put a piece of string across the ceiling that'll drop through the hole in the plywood board. We can then get everything fitted, connect the wire to the string and pull the string back through so I can then wire it in. That sounds a sensible idea.
Sounds like the most sensible idea you've had all day.
Because otherwise, if we don't do that with a bit of string, it means when I come to fit the light, I've got to drop the ceiling board again, and that'd be pointless. So let's get a hole drilled somewhere around here so that the piece of string can go from one side to the other. Got it. I'm getting there with it. So this board is 4 foot wide, but we can't get a 4 foot wide sheet into the boat,
no,
which is unfortunate. So what we're having to do is cut it down the middle, 2 foot, 2 foot. Then what we'll do is when we get into the boat, we'll join this edge, the square edge that we know is perfectly square, and that edge, the other perfectly square edge, up in the middle. The cut edge that we'll have done that ends up at the outside edges. Are you following this?
Yes.
And that means that this cut, if it's not 100% perfect, you'll never see it, because by the time we've trimmed all the sides of the roofing. So that's the theory anyway. Pencil. And so that we know where the joists and things are inside, we're going to take this in, take it out, take it in, take it out. That's not right.
So that can't be right.
Have you marked it out wrong?
It's there, look. I've gone on a knot rather than my mark. But good looking anyway.
Yeah, good trying. We like a tryer. Yeah, so we'll now get that cutting off. We can then mark out where the light's going to be and just drill the pilot hole so the piece of string can feed through.
Yeah.
Oh no, his GoPro just fell over.
Oh. It's tired.
Hello, Mr. GoPro. Are you alright? She's still filming. Oh, well, I've got it in my hand. So yeah, so we now mark the board out. We'll cut that, drill the hole for the light, take it in, line it up. And also this first one isn't a full length that we need. It's somewhere like about there it needs cutting. I'll stop talking. Let's get cracking. Right, so now we've cut that, we now need to flip this over so that the edge is the...
Which way we're going? That way.
So that nice square edge is now the centre edge. And in typical winging it fashion, we've measured that the light is going to be 34 inches down. So that's 34 inches. And then it's 40 centimetres in.
Yeah.
Only in winging it world could we have one measurement imperial and one measurement in metric. So I now need to drill a little hole there that we can feed that piece of string through that will then pull the wire back through.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, just to add to the complication of using metric and imperial, I'm now using a HSS drill bit for drilling through steel to drill through wood.
Beautiful. And it went through like butter.
What we're now going to do is take it inside and just measure up and mark up where the joists are so that we can then pilot drill all the holes. We'll not bother taking the camera inside for that because that's just going to be faffing and you'll see us screw it in place.
That hole's not big enough, your string's bigger than that hole.
No, the string will fit through there.
Right, that's fine.
Well, unsurprisingly, we've been in the boat about 2 minutes and we've already had a change of plan. In essence, what we'd planned on was this first board being cut down by sort of around maybe 2 foot so that it would end where the kitchen itself ends, and then we'd have a fresh board starting above the dining room and down to the lounge. But now we've got it in place, that seems a bit daft because it basically all fits and lines up to joists and things, so we might as well leave that as a full board. Let's just point out first off, yes, the piece of string did come through the hole in the ceiling. What do we say, Dawn?
Sorry.
Peter is perfect, isn't he?
Sorry.
So what we're now going to do is we've lined it up and I've got a string line going all the way down the boat, down the centre, because obviously what we don't want is this first board to be off slightly and then that would pull everything out of line as we go down. So we've got the string line, we're happy it's lined up centrally down the boat. We've got it all marked up, so what we can do is screw it into this joist at the end here and then measure up where each joist is, mark it out, screw them in as we go down. That'll pull it all nice and tight, get all nice and level, then we can go to the pub.
Eat, sleep, repeat.
Yes, there will be lots of eat, sleep, repeat today. So yeah, let's get this first one fastened in place. Well, I think we now need a round of applause.
One piece up.
One piece of ceiling up. Just over 3 years ago since we bought the boat, and we've finally got a ceiling up. Although we did have a ceiling up down there for quite a while. But yeah, first piece of ceiling up, and we've got the holes in with the bit of string through, ready to pull the wires through for the lights. We've actually got one of the mushroom vents, the air vents is about there on the outside, but obviously I can drill an hole down from the outside, just mark it out, jigsaw, cut it out in there, so that'll be no problem. But yeah, first board up. Next one though is a little trickier because we obviously need to cut out for around the hatch.
Yeah.
So that'll be plenty of measuring, plenty of scratching of heads, and plenty of cuppers. And Dawn's carrying on with the insulation down that end. Progress though, progress. Let us crack on and we'll come back to you later on and see how we're getting on. Cheers.
Cheers.